throwing our hat on too.
I've thought a lot about the fact that Sue Bird and Leisha Clarendon have both retired, and those were two people that really organized in moments, in trying moments like these. So I guess what I want to know from you is, you know, who or what needs to step up, you know, because they were very much so behind the scenes when it came to the Warnock election and everything that came with that.
I mean, I think Stacey Abrams was also a huge piece of that.
Yeah.
When it comes to our league, yeah, I don't know who that's going to be. I think I've kind of stepped away and done my own advocacy, understanding that I don't necessarily fit in with certain things that, you know, as a business, you have to protect yourself in a lot of ways too. So I'm very understanding. I don't know where that comes from, but I know that I'm just going to continue to stand on my platform. I'm going to utilize this platform as much as I can, and as much as I can with these cameras in my face, make sure that I'm pushing the agendas and the narratives that need to be pushed.
No, I listen, I really appreciate this, because this is one of the only leagues in America that really values these discussions.
I think we're the most diverse league that has the most marginalized women, and therefore we stand up. You look around at other leagues across the plane, whether it's our male counterparts where a lot of this stuff doesn't affect them, so they don't care, or it does affect them when you go to the deeper layers of your home, your wives, your kids, your daughters, and all that. I don't know if we necessarily have the capacity to get there yet, but this is why I want to have those dialogues. It is time for players and especially athletes to stand up and utilize their platforms again. I think we saw the shift in 2020 of civilians stopping trusting our government and then looking to their favorite celebrities or athletes for hope and right direction and guidance, and so this is that time again. So we can no longer stay quiet. It affects our own homes, our own families, our own wives, our own daughters, our own etc. Like just the list goes on. So at some point we got to start taking ownership of our own homes and fighting for our own homes, no matter what that looks like.
Right. I guess, you know, you guys for the Commissioner's Cup, you're playing for an organization that is trying to do some of this work.
Yes.
I guess how much have you learned about this, or how much, when you do learn about the organization, I don't know, will that sort of be a step forward for you all, if that makes sense, when it comes to doing the work?
I mean, we've always done the work. I'm confused by the question.
I'll rephrase. Brain work, please. You all are playing for an organization that I believe
is across equity.
Yes.
Equity within our community, especially within marginalized groups and marginalized women, younger women too.
So I guess just, you know, knowing that goes on, how do you think about the different types of actions you all can take? I know it's tough because the season, and we just talked about how crazy the schedule is, but just, does that provide a lane for you to get out in the community a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it provides a lot of mentorship with younger women that are actually within the program itself. Obviously, we're financially also pouring into this grassroots organization so that they can give more women opportunities. They can do different trips. Like, they took them to what courthouse?
Locally, or I think they went to Albany.
I think they went to Albany, and just like even teaching them the due process of like certain things within our country. That is huge when you're talking about trying to change the trajectory of lives. You know, getting them outside of things that they've always known, getting them outside of their comfort zone. But I think it more so presents a mentorship for us with these younger women. Obviously, there's other grassroots organizations that we can tack into with actual legislation and things that can actually implement change. But I mean, I'm sitting here looking at our capital, like, if our actual democracy isn't even holding things together right now, how do we as people? I think that's the scary thing that we're trying to figure out right now, is like, we literally have law and order in a way that our democracy is supposed to run, and it's not running that way. So now how do we as the people, if you can't even do it, how do we do it? I think that's where we're kind of in limbo right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh, for real. I do appreciate it.
Yes.
And we're going to continue to get in good trouble. I don't know what that is yet.
I think that's sort of
like even him turning the National Guard, I'm like, I don't understand. If you're a part of the Army, don't fucking go.
Well, Newsom just sued, which is good.
And I love him. I'm like, it's slot. Thank you.
Hi. How you doing? I'm good. That was a real
intense.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, I got
really,
basketball question.
Yeah,
let me
prepare for that. I have to practice, but here we are.
All right. One thing I've noticed in the past couple games, the field goal attempts for you aren't there, but the driving and getting 2 feet in the paint is.
Yes.
And you've really been sort of adamant about finding those good open looks.
Yeah.
Just what have you liked about the process of offense for you guys in the past couple days?
Yeah, I think there's a balance for me. I'm definitely trying to figure out what that is, of making sure that all are involved as the point guard, right? That is my job. Making sure I'm putting my teammates in successful situations, but also understanding that I have to be assertive and aggressive at the rim first to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So you'll probably see my shot attempts go up in this next week or so, just to make that a more balanced approach for me on the offensive end. But I mean, we have so many weapons, so my job as a point guard is really fun. I just have to remind myself to reassert myself a lot of times too.
Yeah, like there are games where you clearly can take over on offense, and it feels like you're really sort of like that. Really, you talked about really feeding the big dogs first and really make sure they're set. Yeah. I guess for you as a player, as someone who knows who can get those shots, how do you sort of like strike that internal balance and be like, okay, the shot is there for me, but I gotta get Stewie a touch because she hasn't gotten a few possessions. I gotta really get Leo in the corner and stuff like that. How do you sort of strike that balance for yourself?
It's a super balance of just realizing who I'm playing with on the floor at that very moment. Making sure that, yes, Stewie and Sav should be getting a certain amount of touches, Leo should be getting a certain amount of touches, and then again, I got to get myself, right? It's just like, it's got to be equal, everyone's got to feel good, but it's just something that you kind of have a feel for as a point guard, of like understanding time, score, game management, clock management. But also, I think some of the greatest point guards are like the people that manage their personalities the best.
Yeah.
And so, okay, if I see Sav is a little frustrated in DC, can I get her going downhill? Can I just get her an easier look at the basket so she doesn't feel like she has to rush her shot up as much? Or in a DC game where Stewie has to put us on her back, it's like, okay, I just need to make sure that you're in positions where they can't double you, where you might have to go one-on-one, but you're in a really good, successful situation within the paint to utilize yourself and every weapon that she has. So just an even balance, but it's more so just a feel for the game too.
You guys have a Chicago team that's young and building, trying to sort of like figure themselves out. I guess you were on a team last year that had a first-year coach with vets mixed in. I guess for players who are in a situation like that, what's the sort of like best way to manage, especially when things are going downhill in the way?
For the Chicago team,
in that
you
sense.
really just have to buy in. It's hard, especially when you're not adding wins to the win column, but understanding that there's short-term goals, right, for the team this year, and then there's long-term goals for an organization down the line. So as much as you can get your core and your core group together and on the same page this season, when it comes time to a free agency next year, that's when you really just add weapons to what is already well established, so that when you do get new pieces, they fall into line very easily. So that's really hard when you do have a young team. Unfortunately, Sloot's reality just shook us just as much as it did them, obviously more them, because she is such a calming presence for them, such a great leader of where they need to be, especially on the offensive end. But that next man mentality is huge, right? You got Haley that can step into that role. You got Kia that can step into that role. When Mo gets healthy, she'll be back. So, and Ariel Atkins is able to do it too. I've played with her in DC for years, so I know she can run the one. But yeah, it's more so just coming together and weathering the storm. It's not fun when you're weathering the fucking storm. It's never fun. It can be really draining and tiring at times, but the ability to stay together through that storm is what's going to bring them out of the storm.
I guess to that point, like when it's really down bad like that as a player, what's the, I guess, how do you sort of like get yourself out of that space where you're like, everything here is just so awful and I feel like the team is not achieving any goals? How do you sort of like recalibrate yourself to be like, okay, I can still turn this on?
Yeah, you got to pour into you. There's going to be even points where I'm on an amazing team. There'll probably be points during the season where I'm like, ooh, I just need to pour into my cup a little bit more right now. That's not from a selfish standpoint. That just means like your self-care, what you do to take care of your own mental, emotional, physical spiritual, that's what you need to do. But the biggest thing that I would say is when you walk into the gym every day, do not be an energy taker. You still have to remain an energy giver, and you still have to give to something that you care deeply about, right? And that's the hardest thing, but to be able to go reset and fill your cup every single night is that much more important for your mental and emotional, I would say, than more the physical on the court.
Yeah, and last one from me. With the season stretching out to 44, with I think the same amount of time as last year?
Girl, Kathy needs to extend the season. I know y'all heard Satu talking about it the other night. I've kind of brought it up here and there, but if you want the best product on the floor every single night, then you have to give adequate time to recover and rest, and we're not getting that. We love a charter flight, but we come home from DC and we don't get home until 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, now I'm up till 5, now I'm sleeping to 12:30, now I'm trying to get back on the schedule, and it's just going. Like, we have 4 games in 6 days, I got sick from it, like, it's just, I know people are like, you play basketball for a living. I get it. I just want to be able to play basketball to the best of my ability every single night, and for my body to be protected in that as well. So if Kathy's going to keep adding more games in this short stint of time, it's gonna continue. The injuries are gonna continue to go up. Yeah. So when you talk about a big business and the overall protection of your investment, we are the investment as players. Your job is to protect us. So if you're gonna add more games, then you better extend that fucking schedule. Shit.
Within that,
because if not, I want her to start traveling to all these fucking games too, and you're gonna see what we talking about. Charter to every. I want you to come when we take that little month trip. I want you to be on every charter flight and tell me how you feel. Every meeting, every practice, every shoot around, every treatment afterwards. I want you to be there the whole time, and you tell me you don't need to extend the schedule.
I guess within that, with it being so congested, what do you think, like, as how much more important does those self-care moments really become, especially when it's really so jam-packed like that?
Well, I'm really thankful to be here in New York, because I feel like we prioritize and we try to counter what our schedule has. So like, we won't have a shoot around tomorrow morning to try to give ourselves some break, to try to sleep, to rest and recover. But we have our PTs, we have our trainers, we have our massages like every 2 days here, flushes, we have steam rooms, saunas, we have ice baths, we have contrast. So I'm just really appreciative to be here with all the resources that we have to counterbalance the crazy schedule that we have. That's the best way I can say it.
I'm sorry if you were asked this, but one really quick question on Niara. Finally, now that she's able to play, you haven't necessarily played with her a lot yet, but probably going to step into that starting role with JJ, most likely not playing. How do you feel about your chemistry, and just what does she do, her folding back into it? Like, how does that help you guys?
I think that we have our starting five, right? But I'll say, even going back to last year, Niara is a reason they won the championship. Period, point blank period. So for me as a point guard, I love playing with Nini. I haven't gotten that much time on the court with her, but as a pick and roll person that loves to, manipulate defenses, Nini is the best, like, free moving, knows where to be, knows what cut to make, knows what action to go into next. So it's actually very comforting to me. But I think in obviously the absence of JJ, that's a huge loss for us on the boards, especially against the Chicago team that is so massive on the boards. But I will say this, in DC, I think when JJ went out, I think that next man up mentality was amazing. I thought KB, Izzy did a great job of stepping in, and now we get Niara back, and it's just, we still have enough in our locker room. And that's the beauty about our team, and the depth and the versatility that's going to make us go really deep in the playoffs too.
But it's so nice to have players that can play in multiple positions.
Absolutely.
So like, you're not limited to like, oh, I'm only a 4, I'm only going to play a 4, I can do 4 or 5.
Against the Valkyries, me and Leo were guarding the 4s at points, so it's like we really play positionless basketball on both sides of that floor.
Yeah, cool. That's all I needed.
Thank you, girl.
Ask you one thing.
Let's do it, girl.
Change of pace.
Oh, I like that accent. Come on, change of pace.
I would love to just give you this, if that's okay. And I would love to ask you about having an Australian coach.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, just a fun topic,
It's a fun topic.
I'm going to film it.
Okay, cool. I think... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, tell me, how is it having Sandy Brondello, an Australian, as a coach?
I call her Big Sandy, not the little. But Sandy is really cool for me. I think if you look back to my last season in Phoenix, it was a really good switch for me, going to a coach that was just like keeping the main thing, and then here in New York, I've never really played well under women, and I was a little bit hesitant at first, but I love Big Sandy. And when I tell you she is like the player's coach that every player wants to play for, she knows what it means to be a player. She knows what it means to be inside these lines, but also like the real life that happens outside the lines. I can go and talk to her. I can go sit in her office at any point, but then she like will get into me at the same time too. So when you talk about coaches depositing into your players so that you're able to withdraw from them, I think she does a phenomenal job. She's a mama, and you can feel it in her. Even I walked into her office to talk to her like last week, and it was cold as hell, so she put a blanket over me, and like I was just sitting chilling. I was like, I could never do this in any of my other years in this league, like playing under men and stuff. So that part of it is really nice. And then on the court, I've always respected Big Sandy, not only here in the W, but obviously back home with the national team, the Aussies, the Opals. She just does a phenomenal job of bringing the best out of her players and putting everyone in successful situations, but her mind and IQ for the game is something different. And I think that's what makes her such a special coach. And then again, going into it, she surrounds herself with other coaches that kind of pick up for where we all have weak points as humans, right? So she surrounds herself with people that make up for those things. And she's big on collaborating. It's not like my way or no way. She's very like collaborative, in which I appreciate that approach. We add so much to this game too as older players and vets that she's willing to like listen, collaborate. And even today I said something defensively. She was like, "You're right." I was like, "Ooh, I like the sound of that." Big Sandy. And then obviously I love the accent. So even when she'll be like, "Double clear, Liza," I'll be like, "Liza." But she's like just really cool overall. She's a good human being with a good heart, and I appreciate that.
Wait, can you just do something else in an Australian accent? I need to hear it.
So she says Tash, and then we're playing Chicago. She'll say Chicago, Chicago, and I'm like, it's not Ch.
Sandy, what's she doing?
I'm like, what's she doing, Sandy? Can you say Chicago for me?
Well, I think I say it right, but is it Chicago?
Yes!
Yeah, okay.
She says Chicago.
Okay, I think that's
Chicago.
just a Sandy thing.
Yeah, it's a Sandy thing.
Is there any like slang or anything that you picked up from her?
No, but I am gonna get her a grill by the end of the season.
Oh.
Yup. I'm not playing with y'all. I really am.
A grill like a barbecue?
No,
like a grill.
Like a
Oh!
I love that. Not a grill like a barbecue, like this grill, like the teeth grill. We're gonna get her one of those New York ones Nene got. Yes, yeah, we got to.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna ice her out. Big Sandy.
Okay, one last one. Any Australian like treats, snacks that she brings to the table, or?
Oh, she cusses, and I truly think I brought it back out of her too, because my mama cusses like a sailor. And when I played in Australia, y'all be cussing too, okay? So when I got here, she was very like, the collar, and then I started cussing, and then she started saying shit all the time, blow shit up, and all this, and I was like, oh, Sandy, I like it.
New York's bringing it out of her.
I think it is.
You played in Australia, so
I
you
did. I played in Townsville. I loved it. If y'all want me back, I've been trying to come back. I'm not gonna lie. I love Australia.
Let's get her back.
Let's get her back.
I'm happy.